We have a couple more types of notes to talk about, and those are the dotted rhythms. Okay? And we know that a dot adds half the value of the note that's right before it. So we can take our half note, and we know that a half note is 2 counts, and half of 2 is 1. So we add a quarter note, which is 1 count, and that would be equal to a dotted half note. Okay? So that would be 3 total counts, 2 counts plus 1. If we were to plop in our eighth notes, we know that that would fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighth notes long. And if we look at a measure of 4/4, we know that if we've got a dotted half note there that takes up 3 counts, we have 1 count left. We really only have a couple options for that last count. We could use a single quarter note, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could have a pair of eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. And just to be really clear, that can also come at the end of the measure. So we could start off with a quarter note at the beginning of the measure and then the half note, dotted half note, or you could start with 2 eighth notes and then have your dotted half note. Either way, as long as it all adds up to fit in that one measure. The last note value I want to talk about is a new one that we were looking at right as we got out of school, which is the dotted quarter note. If we start with 1 quarter note, we know that a dot adds half the value of that, which would be the equivalent of an eighth note. So that's all we need. That would turn into this brick, this 3-dot brick. 1 and 2, or we're using the pronunciation T-E-E to show that it's the same value as 3 eighth notes. And I can actually plop in the 3 eighth notes over here also, just to show that it can be any type of value there. 3, quarter note plus an eighth note, or 3 eighth notes long. It's still going to have the same value. Now, if you look at these two notes here, there's kind of a gap after each one of them that would be equal to a single eighth note. That's why in the music that we play so often in 5th grade and even into 6th grade, you'll see a dotted quarter note almost always followed by an eighth note or an eighth rest, because that makes it to an even number, 3 plus 1, which would be 4. So we see this type of rhythm very often in our music. T-E-E-T, T-E-E-T, or 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and.